On today's episode of the MiniBrute Cookbook tutorial series, we're doing the Super Fat lead by J.M. Blanchett. This is a fat and detuned lead sound using both ultrasaw and pulse width modulation on voltage controlled oscillator 1 and velocity on filter cutoff control. Tweak the ADSR envelope sustain level to get different results. Now, I have not gone through this one on my own, like in depth. I did go through it before just to kind of like noodle with it, play with it, see what I could do. So we're going to be starting from scratch basically together on this one. All right. As always, we start with a default patch. I'm already there. I have the, brute factor still up, but it's okay. That's okay. All right. So I missed a couple things, but all right. Basically we're back to nothing happening, right? We don't even have sound. So let's get our oscillators going. We're going to start off with a saw wave at about 3/4 and a square just a little under that. All right. We're going to be using some of the ultrasaw. In fact, a lot of ultrasaw. And we're also going to add some pulse width modulation. Now, these are naturally routed to the LFO, so you may want to mess with those a little bit to kind of, because it's going to adjust it. At least the pulse width modulation is going to be affected by that. The LFO, or the ultrasaw amount, is affected by the LFO, but the way it's processed, it doesn't really matter as much. So these, the LFOs you can kind of leave alone. They don't really, I mean, they will impart a slight change, but it's so minuscule, it's almost imperceptible. You can do stuff with it later, and that's fine, but we're not really going to use much of it right now. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add oscillator 2 into the mix. And it's out of tune a little bit. So, but you can make it offset for, you know, a 5th or a 7th or whatever you want. I'm actually going to put it back to just like, I'm assuming that the tweaking of VCO2 is such to tune it with the first synth or the first oscillator. That's I don't know, that would make sense to me. Anyway, we're gonna bring oscillator 2 down just a little bit, just to kind of, oh, it's also in saw wave configuration, just to kind of mix it in with everything else. There's cat hair on my synth. Goddamn cat. All right, so now let's start engaging the filter. So what we're going to do first is put it all the way down so we can't hear nothing. Then we're going to open up the filter using the filter modulation, which is, I think that's what FM is actually supposed to stand for here, filter modulation, right? Anyway, so we're going to bring the ADSR envelope up. And we can hear it starting to do something, but can't really hear what's happening. So now we're going to go to the patch bay, and we're going to take out of the velocity into the attenuator 1, which is pre-routed for the cutoff filter. And if we bring this up, now we have some control over how much that filter opens based on the velocity that we use when playing the note on the keyboard, or I have the sequenced version. So the harder you hit the note, the more expression you get out of that. Now, obviously, you can take and change the brute factor a little bit. But to get yourself the most kind of control over what's happening, you know, you kind of have to play around with the FM and the velocity to the cutoff. And that's basically it. It's a nice super fat lead, but can do all kinds of stuff with it. And I just now realized while recording this that I did not have my preamp set right on this synth. So this is going to be interesting, but should be okay. Anyway, that's basically it. This one's pretty quick and easy. It's just a matter of you know, tuning everything to the way that they fit, the way you like them. And you know, adjusting the AD envelope for the release of your note, the amplitude of that. And then yeah, the ultrasaw and pulse width modulation, they're pre-routed to the LFOs, but they don't really do much until you get them moving like really fast. Then they kind of help, but they also kind of like make things weird. So adjust to taste, play around with it, figure out what you like. Yeah, that's it for this one. It's nice and quick and easy. As always, have fun, play around, experiment, be a good person. We'll catch you in the next one.